If there's a time that you want to be 100% stocked or even slightly overstocked, it's now.
I think for car dealers that are competing against those Chinese cars, are you offering those services?
Welcome back to the podcast, Craig.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Good to see you.
Likewise.
What do you think of our new picture?
I love it.
It's beautiful. It's a Toyota.
Well, and you know what? It's just in time for our back to school special.
Back to school special. Now, you don't have children, do you?
No, I don't.
So back to school for you doesn't have the same meaning as back to school for me.
But I'm happy to jump on board. I'll jump on board. It's a great time. It's a reason for a sale. It's a great time to sell cars. So I'll get involved.
Yeah. No. But back to school to me means early starts and shouty households. But no. I think so. Look, today we're going to talk about the importance of being ready to capitalise on the market following what we believe has been a relatively quiet summer.
Yeah.
So how do dealers capitalise on that? And I think the other thing to bear in mind is not only are we saying back to school, but also schools are closing on the 5th of December this year.
It's not long. It's only a few more months away.
Yeah. So I don't know how many weeks that is. Probably, 12, 13 weeks?
Yeah.
And then potentially there's another mass exodus. So these trading weeks are crucial.
Yep.
What do you see in the data?
Well, I have some numbers for you, Craig.
Is it a quiz?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's a quiz.
All right, go for it. Do I get a prize?
Yes. You'll have to wait and see what it is till
right.
next episode. So when we looked at the data, we broke the year up into thirds. We
Right.
said it was the first third, which had Ramadan this year.
Yeah.
We then had the middle third, which was the summer.
Yeah.
And then the last third, which we've just entered now. Which of those thirds do you think is the busiest for car dealers?
Based on our data, it's got to be the back third.
Correct.
Woohoo!
Next question. Which would be the quietest third?
You're probably going to say I'm wrong, but I'll go, it's second third.
I'm giving you some easy ones here, Craig. You're right. You're right.
I thought it was a trick question.
No, it's not a trick question. So then if we've come off the quietest third and we're going into the busiest third, how much of an uplift do you think you see?
Are we talking for new cars or used cars or both?
Just the market in general.
I would say you've got to see a 30% bounce.
Yeah, our data shows a 20-something% bounce. So not quite there, but roughly there.
What's my prize?
Next episode, you'll have to tune in.
Okay, all right, okay.
But you know the interesting thing? Year over year, this year as a whole year to date, is also up 20%. So even though the summer was down 15%, it's still just as good as an average month last year.
I'm not surprised by that, but I would like to know if you've got the data. Is that being driven by new cars over the summer, and especially Chinese cars?
Yeah.
Do you have any data that sort of supports that?
We don't drill down into there. We look at activity around trade-ins and
Yeah.
how many trade-ins dealers are doing, because that correlates pretty nicely to how many new cars they're selling. Of course, we're seeing more and more of the Chinese brands implement our technology, sell cars. We're seeing a big uplift there.
Yeah.
So I think, that's a nice segue into how the market's changing. I think that price point of 50 to 70,000 for an SUV is just changing the market, and that's where a lot of these Chinese cars in the 50 to 70, 50 to 100,000 dirhams are really cleaning up.
Yeah. It was. It's for another podcast, but actually, I was reading today in the FT that the Chinese market actually is going to have to change and have to clear up and reduce the amount of manufacturers and reduce these because they're so heavily discounted
And subsidised, I believe.
subsidised. Yeah. That it just isn't making any sense anymore. So maybe this is the time to capitalise and buy some cheaper Chinese cars because they may not be around in the next couple of years. But so, okay, definitely the Chinese market doing very well, and I think it kind of leans into some of the other conversations we had around lead management, premium feel. Not only is it a good product at a great price that competes with the used car market, but also the service, the finance, all those elements that they're offering.
Yeah.
What are you seeing? I mean,
well, it's a total package. But the good thing is, if you're a dealer and you're not a Chinese dealer, you don't have a Chinese franchise, The great thing is the market continues to grow in the UAE. The population is growing. For the last few years, the population's grown at 300,000 people a year.
I know.
And all those people need a car or a few cars,
Yeah.
maybe one for the driver or the nanny. So even if you don't have one of these Chinese brands, you're still riding the wave of population growth. You know the other statistic I saw, Craig? More people are staying here over the summer. Even though...
Oh, you said that earlier. I'm going to disagree with that. Only because it took me 11 minutes to drive into work during summer, and that's unheard of.
Maybe they're working from home.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
Well, there was a YouGov statistic recently that said in the US, UAE and KSA, 70% of people this year and last year, chose to stay here instead of going away for the summer.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I based on how quiet the roads were and how everyone, it felt like there was a mass exodus. But what we see on DubiCars is actually our lead volume doesn't drop off dramatically.
No.
But the types of leads we generate are different. People have got more time. They're actually not in the market to buy now. They're in research phase.
Yeah.
Kind of leans into the WhatsApp conversation we had on a different pod. The fact how dealers need to manage these leads because they may not even be in the country. They're certainly not in the market, but they are interested. What's my car worth?
Yeah.
Tell me about this car. Does it meet my requirements? Is there finance available? And you have to nurture those leads to get backs when people are back for school.
Yeah.
They are in the market.
When they come to fruition now.
Yeah, exactly. When the CEO's back, when the wife's back from where she's traveling, and you get the seal of approval to buy the next car, they want to go.
Or you have to, I've got friends who just bought a car for the nanny, so to do school drop-offs.
Yeah.
Households going from 2 cars to 3, 3 cars to 4, all of those things are happening now, and it's a great time to be a car dealer.
It's a really interesting point with the traffic as it is at the moment. I think that's only going to increase because the amount of time now people are spending in traffic, you are going to get, if you can, your nanny to drive or someone to drive because it's almost becoming impossible to manage to get between school, work, home life. There's just not enough hours in the day, unfortunately.
And Dubai's becoming more sprawled out as well. You
Yeah.
know, it's getting a bigger footprint than what it had 10 years ago. People are living in the ranches, working in Jebel Ali, school somewhere else, and it's a lot of commuting.
Yeah, definitely. I think going back to the point around how important these trading weeks are, and especially, you mentioned, the third part of the year. Well, that's going to be a reduced third potentially for December. As a business owner, I'm almost writing December off. And if it's good, then fantastic, but I'm going to write it off. And so I'm going to try and condense all our activity in the next 12 to 6 weeks. What's best practice for dealers? What should they be thinking of then in this trading window?
Yeah, well, I think if dealers want to capitalize on this, they need to make sure that they've got a healthy level of stock. If there's a time that you want to be 100% stocked or even slightly overstocked, it's now. Secondly, the stock's got to be priced right. If it's not priced right, you're going to be stuck with it in January. You've got to have a good amount of stock, a good variety of stock, ideally fresh stock, but even if it's not fresh, it's got to be priced well, priced to market. I think they're the basics. And then if you really want to capitalize on it, you can think about back to school promotions, finance promotions, thinking about your stock mix. Maybe people are looking to get bigger cars. I'd be heavier in SUVs. I'd be trying to, if I was a used car dealer, I'd be changing my stock mix to have more price range SUVs in that 50 to 120,000 dirham mark, up to 7 years old, under 100,000 kilometers. I'd be trying to put together, enticing finance packages on them, and I'd be making sure that I'm able to trade cars at competitive rates and my cars are priced to market. I think the dealers who can just get those basics right will do very well between now and mid-December.
Yeah, and I think finance is key. We've talked about finance before, and it feels like finance is something which is not positioned as well as it should be in this marketplace. But I know from speaking to friends and people actually in my team who have recently bought a Chinese car, the finance is being subsidized by the OEM.
Yeah.
So it's almost free capital for the consumer. It's super easy.
Yeah, it is.
They're literally, it's online and one telephone call and they're done.
Yeah.
And you get the new car experience as well, right? So you're getting a 5-year warranty on top of it. And I think for car dealers that are competing against those Chinese cars, are you offering those services? So is your finance proposition good? Have you got someone who can do it quickly and offer that? You know, have you got a warranty provider, or can you do something around that? Because again, you're competing with that Chinese car.
Yeah.
Are you managing the lead correctly and giving that consumer a great experience? Because certainly some of the car dealers offering Chinese cars are doing it very well.
Yeah, of course.
They're giving a BMW experience for a Chinese car, but maybe they've given away one of the dealerships. But so that's what you're competing against now.
Yeah.
So dealers have got to do all of those things, really. Are you seeing anything in terms of age stock? Are you seeing anything in your data about cars sitting longer, taking longer to sell?
Yeah, we have seen as the years progressed on, the average age of dealer stock has slowly increased.
Yeah.
And it's been the first time in years we've seen that trend, to the point where we've double-checked the data, because every month we've just seen cars sitting slightly longer and slightly longer all this year.
Yeah.
Are you seeing the same trend?
Yeah. And what are you putting that down to?
I think there's more competition in the market, and I think dealers need to be more aggressive on their pricing. I think cars are depreciating a bit faster than they have in the last few years, and dealers who are hanging out for that high price are going to end up taking a loss eventually.
Yeah.
I think they need to, the game changes every few years, and I think in the last 12 months the game has changed again. Used cars are no longer scarce. There's plenty of them. They're not at a premium price. Dealers have to think about the velocity that they're turning over their cars and making sure that their cars are priced to market, or they'll just sit and sit and sit because the consumers are still there buying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's it. This market is growing.
Yeah.
So we know that.
The market's growing, cars on the road is growing, everything's growing, but a lot of dealers have got their cars sitting there longer than ever, so there's a disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I think that's absolutely right. I think, we're seeing days to sell have increased actually quite dramatically, like 20, 25, 30% increase in time to sell over the last 12 months. We're putting that down to the rise of the Chinese car and just the rise of the new car altogether. I mean, there's just some great deals out there, great finance deals. They're all competing now. So that's a very active marketplace. And the used car dealers are just not responding fast enough in terms of A, their prices to make sure they're competitive, B, their marketing to make sure that they can compete with the Chinese cars in terms of the products and the services that they offer, and C, the experience, to make sure that the consumer gets the same experience you would do if you're buying a new car. Because, the consumer, in all my lifetime, I've never seen these kind of changes happen so quickly. The Chinese market really has. It doesn't matter how much money you have or what money you want to spend on a car. You are talking about a Chinese car.
Yeah. There's so many options at every price point.
So many options, and consumers are being delighted by the service and the quality and the functionality and the finance, right? So there's a lot, I think. So look, I suppose our takeout for back to school, 12, 13 weeks, you've got to go for it if you want to have a good year.
It's the time to make it happen.
So pricing, marketing, experience.
Plenty of stock.
Plenty of stock.
And the right stock.
Yeah, and shift the old stock that's not selling.
That's it.
Well, there you go. That was a very motivational podcast there. Glenn, thank you very much.
Thanks, Craig.
Until
I'll
the next
see you next
one.
time.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.